Thanks for coming to check out the final episode of my giant spider build. If you haven't seen the other ones, I would suggest going back and checking those out so you know what's going on here. Otherwise, it might be a little confusing for a while. But like I said in the last one, I am going to customize my basket today. I had Kevin design a sweet basket wrap to go across the top, so he's going to come back and help me put that on because honestly, he's way better at putting on vinyl than me, so I wanted his help. And I thought, is it really a giant spider if it's just the legs? So I'm gonna make a head to go on top just to tie it all together. And at the end, I will show you the final product all said and done. So let's start by getting this basket done.
To start the basket, I took the top pole and the cage off so I could grind the paint where I was going to weld. I also took a little bit of paint off on the cage so I could put my ground on. With everything tacked together, I went through and welded the top pipe to the cage. So all I got left is a little bit of cleanup, but I'm going to put it back together right now because Kevin's coming and we are going to put that top basket wrap on. To start it out, we pulled the backing off of the vinyl sticker and sprayed it down with some window cleaner just so when we put it on, we can move it around to make sure everything sits where it needs to be. We got to the end and Kevin cut off the extra and stuck it to me because apparently that was the best place for it. Grabbed a plastic scraper to push out all of the window cleaner so the vinyl actually sticks to the band. Then we went through and cut off the little bit of extra from the bottom and the top. And now the basket is all done and I can move on to making the head that I want to put on top of the spider. I'm using a 8-inch half sphere that I found online, some inch and a half, I believe, ball bearings for the two big eyes, and inch and 5/8 nuts, I think, for the big ones. But the little ones are 3/4 inch ball bearings and 7/8 jam nuts. Now that I got all of them put together, I'm gonna start putting the eyes on the head, and when I get them all done and set, then I will weld all of the eyes on and move on to making the bangs. I guess they're called like Calicera. I I don't know. I tried to look it up, but it was too hard to pronounce. So we're just gonna go with fangs and keep moving. For the fangs, I'm using inch and a half exhaust pipe that I just found online, and I'm going to cut a bunch of notches in the top so I can then pound in each one of the tabs to make it a point. Then I will go through, weld all of it solid, and then grind it, clean it up, and get it ready for the next step. with the fangs all welded up and polished, I was finally done and able to start figuring out how I wanted to add them to the rest of the head. Once I figured it out, I tacked them on, got them welded in, and then the fun part of adding all of these nails that I'm just tacking in a bit of a pattern on the fangs, and then I will be able to move on and put all of the large 3.5-inch nails that I'm using, as the hairs on the rest of the head. Now that I got all of the hairs welded on, I'm going to go through, clean everything up, and then I'm going to put down a base coat of satin black. Then I'm going to start adding all of my accents. I'm going to give this guy a white mohawk going through the top and a little bit of red on each one of the fang hairs. I also taped off each one of the ball bearings, so when I get to the end and pull the tape off, they'll actually still be that fun chrome and patinaed by the heat, and I think all of the colors will kind of work well and kind of look pretty cool. And as you can see here, I got a bunch of paint on my shirt when I opened the can, because of course I gotta get paint on myself every single time I paint something. With the head all painted and done, it's finally time. I'm gonna go take this outside and put it on the spider and show you the final project. All complete.
And there we go. Last piece to the giant spider build is done and on. So the only thing left to do is actually start enjoying this thing. So I'm going to start throwing some discs at it, and we'll see you in the next one. If you liked what I did here, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time. Hey, did you think for the biggest project I've done so far that I wasn't going to do some B-roll? Well, I almost made all of them, but for those of you who aren't disc golf fans, let's get a little closer.